Hey guys, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches, and I am broadcasting to you from the Goldberg studio deep in the heart of the Goldberg dog farm. And in fact, I'm talking to you from one of the many bathrooms at this beautiful facility. And today I am going to talk to you a little bit deeper, a little bit further, in a very quick video about what I think ultimately is going to happen to the Batman. But before we move into that vicious rumor, let's get the quick fist watch check out of the way, and I think this one is going to be a bit of a surprise to you. Here we go. This watch is a Spinnaker titanium dive watch, which has been sent to me for review. I have changed the strap, and yeah, in the next week or two, keep an eye out for a review of this little dive watch. But that is not today's topic. I posted up a video about the Batman discontinuation rumors that are all over the internet. So first I can tell you now that that rumor originated on Instagram, but it quickly spread over to Facebook and YouTube, and now everybody is agog. I do not possess the latest full Rolex catalog, but I am told it does not show in what is called the 2018-2019 catalog. However, it is in the catalog the full catalog that I possess, which is the 2018 catalog. So the big question is, has the Rolex been discontinued now? Let me fix this. We're slipping. Okay. Has the Rolex been... So the big question is, has the Rolex already been discontinued? And the answer is we don't know, but right now it's just rumors because there has been no announcement made. However, in the scheme of things, everything gets discontinued. There is literally no reference number by Rolex which has not been stopped, canceled, and then reissued with either a new reference number and been updated, or which has not just been discontinued altogether. But generally speaking, with a successful model like the Batman, what they do is they reissue it. A perfect case in point would be the James Cameron, which was reissued. They just put a 2 in front of the reference number, reissued it with an updated movement, and they reissued it with an updated bracelet. So we already know that there are upgrades in the works for the GMT line. And we know that because of the Pepsi on the Jubilee bracelet, which has a new movement and a 70-hour power reserve. Weirdly, Rolex finally just caught up to the power reserve of Tudor's in-house movement. So we know that there is a GMT movement with a better power reserve, and it only makes sense that ultimately that is going to hit the black GMT if they continue forward with that model, and also with the Batman. So really, I don't think it's a question of will the Batman in its current iteration be discontinued. That's not a question. Of course it will be. The real questions are as follows. Number one, when? Number two, is it going to be just completely gone? Will there be no more black and blue bruiser? Will there be no more Batman bezel? Or will they simply reissue it on a Jubilee bracelet, or still on an oyster strap? But will they reissue it with a new movement? If they do that, there will probably be some sort of tiny little difference on the dial, which is one of the ways that they use to distinguish when they have updated a model. So definitely the Batman is going to go in its current iteration. Certainly they're going to change the movement. But the real issue is, will we continue to see a black and blue movement? Or bezel, right? So, in other words, will the Batman still look like the Batman? You know, the new James Cameron looks very, very much like the old James Cameron, and it would take a very practiced eye for you to tell the difference if you held the two of them, up together. In fact, the only difference is a tiny little width of the bracelet. So, again, it would take a very practiced eye. Will they do that when they reissue the Batman? Or will they completely make the Batman go away in favor of something else? Is the Batman going to disappear? Or is it just going to change bracelets, or maybe a small change on the dial? But ultimately, for sure, if they come back out with it, it will have a slightly different, it'll have the new movement, right? So if you want my prediction, I think what's going to happen is that at Baselworld, they will announce a new edition of the Batman. And that new edition is likely to feature the exact same bezel. I think, so we'll still be able to call it the Batman. I think the new edition will have the upgraded new movement with the 70-hour power reserve. And I think it'll still be on the Oyster bracelet. I think they're going to keep that Jubilee for the Pepsi. We don't know, but that's what I think. And here's a final question. What does that mean for the value of the Batman as it currently exists? Well, I guess what I would say is if you have one, don't sell it. I do think what will happen at first is a Batman with a better movement is going to push down slightly and quickly the premium that's on the current iteration of the Batman. So if you own a Batman, when they come out with a new one, it's going to drop a little bit because there'll be a new Batman out with a better movement. But then I think a couple years later, it's going to go back up, and then I think it'll steadily climb. So I don't think that the current Batman is going to be anybody's quick get-rich scheme. You know, it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not going to be like an immediate return. However, if I were you, I wouldn't flip it, and I'm going to keep mine. So here's a recap, guys. What you're hearing now about the Rolex being discontinued, in my opinion, is nothing more than a rumor. However, it is logical that ultimately they will redo this model or discontinue it. That announcement will be made officially. It won't be, you're not going to hear it on YouTube first. It will be released to the media by Rolex, and then ultimately it will percolate its way down to social media. But, it's not going to be the kind of thing where somebody said on Instagram and it turns out to be true. Don't think so. I believe it to be a rumor. However, they will ultimately put the new movement in the watch. They will make a change to the dial, and that is my personal prediction. I think at that point they will change the reference number, and they will call it the 216710. That's what I think is going to happen. What will happen to the price or the value of the current iteration of the Batman? I think when the new one comes out, the current one is going to dip a little. Why? Because there's going to be a bunch of guys who own it that are going to want to bail out of it. It'll seem like yesterday's news, and people are going to want the new one. And then 6-8 months later, everybody who has bailed out of it has bailed, and they will start to become in scarcer supply because Rolex won't be making any more of that iteration, won't be making any more of that reference number. Now, could they discontinue the black and blue bezel altogether, making Batman disappear from the earth completely? Yes, they could do that. Do I think they will do that? No, I don't think they're going to. These are just predictions, guys, but remember, you heard it here first. Let's stay tuned and see what really does happen. And hey, put in the comments what you think about all of this crazy rumor nonsense. What's going to happen to the Batman, guys? What do you think?